Hey everybody, Ninja Mama here. I know it's been a long time since I did a video, and I first want to thank all the subscribers, all the new subscribers who have come on board in the last few months. I appreciate all of you watching, and I've been wanting to do a video on this for a while, since this whole thing started with Harvey Weinstein and the whole Hollywood implosion situation that's going on right now, because it really touched a nerve with me. And those of you listening who have ever been married to or involved with a somatic narcissist, and in particular a very in some ways the classical alpha male, bullyish and somatic narcissist, very aggressive, very overt, very much the spoiled, petulant child type personality is what you're dealing with here. And wow, just watching this train wreck over the last, how long has it been, 2 weeks now? It's literally, I mean, it's like the train wreck that you can't stop looking at. And it just, the behaviors that some of these women are describing just reminded me so much of my ex-husband, the things he used to do. I'm gonna attach some links in the description box of 2 accounts from 2 actresses who described their encounter with Mr. Weinstein when they were young. And I believe both incidents happened like in the 90s. And one of them, the first one, her name is, I believe it's Christine Kendall, describes the situation where he tricks her into going up to his apartment under the guise that like they were on their way somewhere, and he was just stopping in to grab something that he needed out of the apartment. And then, of course, as soon as they get up there, he's trying to get naked. And the way she describes, like, she's telling him no, and he's, like, trying to get her to agree to something, anything. Like she said, it was very uncomfortable how he was negotiating with her. Like, well, if you won't do that, well, then will you do this? Well, then if you won't do that, well, then will you do this? And he, like, wouldn't stop. Wouldn't stop. And what that said was like, just what it shows you is how the narcissist, in their never-ending pursuit to get supply, and it's like it never ends, they're like a vacuum, like this bottomless pit, and they're trying to fill it up and fill it up with whatever it is that is their supply. Like if it's sex, if it's drugs, if it's money, whatever the case, it's like a never-ending bottomless pit. And like he would not stop until he got a win. And then like the second actress, the link that I'm gonna put, Lauren Sivan, it was the same situation. Like he got her loans, and I think it was like a vestibule in a restaurant, and how she's describing how she's telling him no, and it's the same type of negotiation process. Well, will you do this? Okay, well, if you won't do, well, then just stand there and don't say anything. And then he's like, you know, like whacking off in front of her, you know, and like all these other celebrities, like pretty much from what it sounds like and from what other people are saying, like everyone pretty much knew this guy had a huge reputation, and it wasn't a good one. It was like pretty much, if you're going to work with him, you're going to put up with this awful personality. And the thing is, it's not even like a somatic narcissist that's like attractive and they at least like have something to offer their targets, you know? Like, I mean, look at the puss on this guy. Like, he looks like the troll that jumped out from under a bridge, you know? And the accounts that these actresses give, it's just like they're like repulsed. like, no. You want me to do what? Like, no. And you know, there, for every one that said no and was repulsed, there was like 10 other ones that said yes and did it willingly, you know, just to further their careers. They would sleep with anybody. There's those actresses like that in Hollywood. I'm sure they're a dime a dozen, and guys like this guy are a dime a dozen, you know, not just in Hollywood, all over the world. Guys like this are a dime a dozen, you know. Women are just basically objects, like you change your socks. And you know, these celebrities that worked with him, and then they're coming out and, oh, they're shocked and appalled. I mean, please, they knew what was going on, you know. And it just speaks volumes, you know, all these celebrities that get up on their soapbox and start preaching about how you're not acting good enough, you're not enough of a big enough social justice warrior if you don't you live your life how they live, and you know, join all the environmental causes or whatever social justice causes that they think are important. You know, you'll never be as good as them, and they're going to preach to you and tell you how to live your life. And then all this comes out, and it's like, you know what, you were complicit in this, and it makes it worse when they come out and say, oh, I'm shocked and appalled. You know, just admit it, you know, just admit it. Everybody knew. You knew what was going on. It doesn't necessarily mean you agreed with it, but don't pretend like you didn't know, because that just makes you an enabler, you know. That just makes it all worse. You're making yourself look worse, you know. And like the wife, of course she knew. You know, there's rumors out now saying the whole thing was like a business arrangement. It was like a loveless marriage, I guess kind of like a Bill and Hillary Clinton type situation. Like, she basically married him for his money and his influence in Hollywood. He wanted the arm candy to make himself look like the hot movie mogul with the hot wife on his arm at all the big events, you know. And he bullied all the actresses who had contracts with his studio to wear his wife's designs at all the awards ceremonies, and he got his wife lots of publicity for her fashion line. And now her fashion company is getting the opposite kind of press, the reports are saying. And in fact, initially, when this all broke, she was allegedly going to stay with him, and then when all the bad press got worse and more women started coming out the woodwork, then she decided to leave him, because then people were threatening to abandon her company. So, you know, that's just how it goes in Hollywood. It's not about empathy. It's not about caring about people. It's not about caring about whatever causes they pretend to care about. It's all about appearances. And isn't that narcissistic? Isn't that what the narcissist always thinks? It's all about appearances. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about really what is. You know, they just care about how it appears to their target audience. You know, whoever they're trying to impress. And yeah, just, oh God, some of the stories, like the two that I'm posting, and I'm also going to post the recording of that. I believe she was like an Italian Filipino model, and it's the recording. The cops, NYPD, actually wired this woman after she had reported that he assaulted her the day before, and they got her to wear a wire and go for another event with him. And he tried again to get her into his hotel room, and just the way he is begging, and he's just going through this whole litany of, please come in here, please come in, and then when she won't, and then he starts ordering her, you come sit in here now, you come sit here now, and I promise I won't touch you. I'm just going to go take a shower and you sit here. And she's telling him no. And then he's trying to guilt her, another tactic they use, trying to guilt her. You're embarrassing me. I'm very famous. I come here all the time. Please don't embarrass me. And then to the point of threatening her with, well, you're never going to see me again. I'm never going to call you again. Don't jeopardize our friendship over 5 minutes. Just come sit in here and have a drink for 5 minutes while I take a shower. Like as if hanging some threat of ruining any chance of a career that she might have if she won't come in his hotel room. And guys like this, it's just, God, it's just too familiar, all too familiar, And the link that I'm posting with the recording, it's Adam Carolla's take on it. He gives, him and the other people on his podcast give some really funny commentary related to it. So it's definitely worth a listen. But just, oh God, it brought back so many bad memories from my former marriage. Well, if you won't do that, will you do this? And like that, how the first model, Miss Kendall, says, like, he's like this, goes into this negotiation mode, and it becomes like exhausting, and that's what they do. They mentally wear you down to get you to agree to whatever they want. And that's exactly this guy. And just from hearing that one recording, he was 10 times worse than this in other aspects. And other actors and actresses have come out and said he was an absolute monster to work with on a movie set, or if you were involved in one of his projects, where he would yell at you, berate you, whatever, if you didn't give an answer he wanted, didn't comply with whatever request he had, that he was just an absolute bully, monster, awful person. So yeah, he probably pretty much deserves what he's getting right now. It took far too long, but I always say better late than never. And there's a ton more just like him. Like now stories are starting to come out about the brother who was one of the ones who pretended to be shocked and appalled, and now other people are coming out and saying, oh yeah, the brother absolutely knew and was complicit, and he used to sort of do the same thing too, so he's not completely innocent himself. So just, it's amazing. What amazed me the most was just all the hypocrisy, that people that stood up for this guy, and like even some of the people who came out and talked about how horrible he was to work with and how he assaulted them, and then like you see these pictures of them, taking pictures with the guy, and it's like, if somebody had sexually assaulted me, and I don't care if if he was an important person in the industry that I worked in or whatever, if somebody had sexually assaulted me, I would not be posing in pictures with him, smiling, And like some of these, there were a couple of actresses who like said like horrible things about him, that he assaulted them. In fact, one of the actresses actually accused him of raping her, and has been one of the most outspoken. And then they got like a picture of him that was taken like, I think like within the past like 5 years or so. And this was like many years, like after the alleged rape happened. And she's like posing in a picture with him. And it's like, seriously? You want people to take you seriously, but you're going to stand here and smile and pose in a picture with the guy who allegedly raped you? Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, think that's pretty much all I got to say about that. I'm gonna try and get some more videos out soon. I did mention in one of my last videos that I wanted to do some videos on those books that I was reading about, Adeline Birch's book on boundaries, and the Jackson McKenzie book on Psychopath Free. I wanted to do some videos on that, and I've also been kind of getting into the series that Leah Remini has on Scientology. And boy, if you ever want a tutorial on narcissistic bully tactics, look no further than the testimony of former Scientology members, because it is pretty much textbook of all of their tactics. So I'd like to do some videos on that as well. So I'm going to try and post things more frequently. It's been busy being a single mom with 2 kids and a full-time job. It's not easy, but I do enjoy talking to all of you. It's fun being a part of this community, and I thank all of you as always. Thanks for listening. Good night.